Hello, today we have the final of the EvilGood tournament, but first we will watch the fight for third place. Ennorath plays for Mordor, Teacher Yi plays for Isengard, Lazy Osha plays against them for the Blue Mountains, and Dracula plays for Arnor. Cat from a subscriber. Look straight into your soul. Let's go. Gravit starts from Shagrat and Garabak. Sets up an observation tower so as not to fight with wargs. He wants to take the money as quickly as possible. We see Dracula launching into horse archers. Well, not necessarily, of course, but most likely it will be horse archers, because this is a good tactic. The Blue Mountains are building a barracks, and Isengard is setting up 2 barracks of savages, that is, it will rush. In my opinion, this is the best build in this matchup against a gnome. If you play scouts, it will be worse for you. But since these are team games, then, well, a correction. Not just because it's a team card, but also because it's a map where rushing is not very profitable, because the players are relatively close to each other, and there are high chances that your second opponent will prevent you from rushing. Then this build after some time will become worse than it actually is. But overall I would probably play the same way. It's strange that Gravit doesn't kill the wargs. After all, this is an experience for Gorbag and Shakrat, but he apparently wants. Somehow try to protect your creep. And we see a very unusual build. Gamak appeared without troops yet. It's very interesting what he was up to. That is, he wants to spam this, the orc captain he used. This is so that you can build swordsmen minus the Morgul. Very cool units. And as I understand it, he is afraid of some camp? Or maybe I understood. Perhaps they, well, wait. Am I right or am I wrong? He glanced at the gnome. I saw that there were Blue Mountains there and thought, now there will be a fast elite, Guardians of the Blue Mountains, who have a camp. There is no way I can counter this camp. Therefore, I play fast Gamag in order to pump him up to level 5 faster, and thus get anti-fear. Not a bad idea, let's see how it works. Plus, if you take into account the fact that there are horse archers here, then Gamak, in principle, is not bad against them. He gives him experience, already the 2nd level. I would like to stop now, but am not sure of who took the experience, but he can definitely take the 3rd one. That is, he could completely get all this for demolishing the creaking, or through split EXP. Split experience. Well, the 3rd level is not bad, he still needs 2 levels. So, he combines archers, swordsmen and spearmen now. If I were him, I would also take these wargs now. I would have gotten a little more. Meanwhile, the bottom team is alone. Repels attacks from savages. As a result, Gravit's passive build interferes with his teammate very much. But we'll see how it pays off in the future. There were a few spear throwers lined up here. Gravit wants to intercept. Rua is trying in vain to attack the economy. All his attacks are repelled. I think he should change his build. And he is already changing it. In such situations, just don't build these savages, build these ones. Axe throwers are very good at demolishing buildings, especially if you upgrade their torches. This is how Dracula makes a mistake. Now he decides to press on with horse archers, and loses an entire detachment. Not only are there spearmen, but also very thick swordsmen, so this is not a good idea at all. Meanwhile, Godmack is almost level 4. That is, Gravit provided for himself. This future is not bad. Dracula enters Ennorath. This is too. Buff troops, we see that he buffs swordsmen and a bit unexpected, to be honest. Well, okay, maybe I don't understand something, but it's as if he doesn't need Ennorath now. In its place, I would build Carthian and just build more troops. It's the same thing, these spearmen are not needed. You can build only swordsmen and throwers, nothing else is needed against Mordor. Because he has bad cavalry. That is, as long as Mordor collects a fairly impressive stack of cavalry, you will know about it. Or he will sit at the base for a long time, that is, he needs to build several units of spiders and build a prince. He won't be able to catch you with one squad of spiders, that's stupid. Therefore, there are enough throwers. So too much money is being poured in. He made a second level upgrade. He makes expensive spearmen, which he simply does not need. It would be better to make swordsmen. And Gravit would then not be able to do what he is doing now. Meanwhile, there are also problems at Lazy Ashi's base, because he keeps part of the troops to protect his teammate. And he does not have enough strength to repel these attacks. Pitcher UA should still build at least 2 squads of throwers so that he could demolish the building here relatively safely. It looks especially sad when he sets up the scouts. But in any case, he wins here. But this is not for long, because we already see 2 detachments of Dale. I hope Lazy Osha remembers that they have black arrows. Oh, I remember, great. This abundance must be constantly handed over. It was very seriously uprooted. The last time dwarves received love from a mod developer. A very bad situation at Dracula's base. Too bad. Gravit also gets the second tier. This is the reason, by the way, why you should not build barracks facing your enemy. This is how the pirates from Umbara are summoned. Well, in my opinion, Gravit won. Lazy Osha won't be able to help because he has problems at the base. He divided the troops again, but alas. Gravit's tactics, as we see, worked perfectly. I remind you that Godmack gives damage leadership to archers, so this additionally worked well. That he built it quickly. It turned out to be an excellent build. That's it. The bottom team simply has no chance. Outplayed and destroyed. Everyone. Well, the saddest thing is that, well, for the lower ones, it's sad that Lazy Osha loses to Teacher, despite the fact that at the beginning he lost a lot of savages in the hope of demolishing something, he didn't succeed. But since the dwarves sent their troops here to help, in the end they, too, were unable to assemble a normal army. And here, in fact, is the result. Hands are right under the fortress. They are fighting under the towers. They are not afraid. So, what's here? The Nazgul appeared. The Dark Prince, the Black Prince to be more precise, although this is not important, and the second catapult is already being adjusted. Here in economics he took the second tier, EKA boost. That's all? Yes, I think this is the end. Let's skip ahead, the first match for the top team. Am I wrong or what? And he was shooting somewhere in the wrong place. Another trebuchet was built at the rear. Yeah, I get it. He is trying to break the catapults with these trebuchets. Well, we need to get new ones. He's dragging. Still needed. The third tier is thrown. The Necromancer has received the 3rd level, as I see. And even the 4th one used an endless horde. I like this abundance of Mordor, because it can resurrect a lot of troops at the same time. Looks beautiful. And the bottom team gave up. 1-0. And we move on. Buckland is played by Dracula for the Misty Mountains, Lazy Osha for Angmar, and Lodris Teacher USA and Rohan Gravit. There is an outpost in the center, but the outposts have been greatly nerfed. And now the outpost is the equivalent of 1 farm, so it is not necessary to capture it. 1 farm is not such a big advantage, although at the beginning of the game you can earn good money. So someone may ask, but how can this be? It gives 30 coins, not 15, but it gives more slowly. Therefore, it's like 1 farm. Start in the Hobbit. What's going on here? Menor plays the Black Numenorians, but he starts for Rudor. Still Lazy Osha. This is a normal build, of course. One of the variations. Gravit uses the old build, but at the same time he also plays peasants. To build as many troops as quickly as possible. Here. The apostates ran to attack, changed their minds, maybe they saw a worker, I don't know. So what's here? Start in spiders and goblins from Dracula. Even if Teacher Yuri didn't play champions here, I think this is a bad build against Ladris. Because literally all units kill spiders. Maybe he's afraid of cavalry. Okay then, maybe he built spiders to help his teammate, or... It's hard to say, but it seems like a bad idea. I would definitely play Azog against Ladris. No options at all. I don't like Gorkul in this matchup. If you play fast Azog, then spiders are not needed. If he's going to play Gorkula, then fine. But then I would add 1 more barracks. That is, start at 2 barracks. Rushing is fine. Then Ladris and then add spiders, especially since if you attack the enemy you will see whether he has cavalry or not. Well, something like that. Now his teammate is in trouble because Teacher.ua is attacking along with Gravit. True, Gravit must first protect his farm. But he seems to be succeeding. Well, almost. Will he finish her off? No. Doesn't finish. The damage was a little lacking. The goblins have arrived. The swordsmen were killed. The champions retreated. Lysiosha must summon a squad of axe throwers. Summons. So, what's here? For those who may not know, I remind you that champions splash. They are ideal against regular goblins. That is, the goblins will never win them in their lives. If you are playing this kind of build, you need to make a lot of archers. It would seem that you can build spiders. They are tenacious. And maybe the champions will not be able to kill them? No, they can. They can. Doesn't matter. Especially in large quantities. That's why I would advise doing Zog even if you spam Marauders. The champions still win them, that is, all the starting troops. Goblins, in addition to trolls, lose to champions. And so he had Azog. Finally. Were there any spiders anywhere? And why did he build it? I don't understand. Maybe he lost his squad. So, meanwhile, ROTWK has a problem, as if Rohan looks better here, although he has very few troops from cover. For some reason, Gravite does not turn renegades into horsemen. Even if the enemy had a lot of spearmen, it would still be good because they tank very well. But he doesn't want to. Well, yes, the lazy ocean troops are unable to do anything now. There are too many archers. Rohan set it up. So, in the meantime, Azog is chasing the champions, but this is a distraction, of course. And here is a real pack that is destroying the economy. He decided to build a cavalry, and it seems to me that Teacher Yue saw this. An additional barracks was built. Well, as if now all Dracula needs is to simply build these swordsmen in large quantities. Well, if it gets tough, of course, add spearmen, that's all. But his build doesn't work yet. I would like to say that because of him Lazy Osha loses. But no, Lazy Osha's build doesn't work either. Gravit wins on its own. It's just that those worms also prevent the additional economy from being demolished. So, Gravit was afraid of Azog, delayed his retreat, and thus Dracula gained a little time for his teammate. He really needs this, because he has already started to lose from two players. So, he can calm down at least a little. Dracula should destroy these farms. And what does he add? Too slow. Well, maybe cavalry will work? Yeah, here are the spiders and here are the horsemen. He has 2 squads. Okay, let's see. There is only 1 detachment of spearmen there. No, I'm lying. There are 2 detachments of spearmen there. We need to stop by. Under no circumstances should Azog be surrounded. Otherwise he will be killed quickly. As long as he has cover, he is very difficult to kill. Reinforcements arrived, as well as a lot of Rohan troops. So far, Dracula has not shown his cavalry in any way. Azog's wrath is used, but only on 1 squad of swordsmen. Well, that's it. He adds archers. Come on, let's look at its resources. I don't like that he took 2 of the first tier. I prefer to take a marauder on Azog. This doesn't mean you always have to play this way, but in this situation, it definitely wouldn't hurt, and it would be worth getting into it as quickly as possible. What next for the role did he order? Okay. If I were Ennorath, I would build some heroes to make it easier for the Azogs to kill. Meanwhile, Lazy Osha began building black nominees. I started implementing my build, and it's finally grading. I forgot what it's called. Halls of Valor. You can build archers up to the 3rd level. For some reason, a fire mage appeared. It seems to me that in this situation he is not really needed here. Well, as a small support, why not? But in my opinion, for them Ladris only Azog poses a threat now. If it weren't for him, we could have already won. Therefore, it is worth adapting to how to kill him. The easiest option is heroes, either shooting heroes to kite, or, oh, he built twins, by the way, sons of Elrond, I just noticed. Either build a Findel Glor and the twins together and try to kill him with brute force, or one way or another, he has too little cover, so they will kill him now. For some reason Dracula stopped, but his teammates saved him. Uses a magical wind, attracts all troops. But I see that Teacher Yui is not really worried because he can kill the trolls. This is also very profitable. Besides, he also killed almost all of his enemy's troops. Even if Azig survives, well, next time we can finish him off. Eladan and Elrahir get the 4th level in one skirmish. This is provided that all this time Azig was also leveling up the 4th level. You can shoot him, by the way, but, oh, he's just trying to do that. But Azig runs behind the fortress. Will Lazy Osha be able to smash Gravite to help her teammate now? Radagast appeared by the way. He is very good against Rudor's troops. By the way, I'll keep you posted. I don't know if Lazy Osha can see him, but he needs to play very carefully. Well, in any case, he needs to play carefully, because there are 2 players against him. Now the teammate has no troops. Azig did not recover. Dracula forgot that Azig's anger restores health. That is, it triggers enhanced regeneration. Therefore, it was necessary to squeeze him out as soon as he left the battle. He would already be at full HP or so. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Let's continue. This means that Dracula urgently needs to come up with something. He will literally have the 5th level already. He can summon berserkers to help him in battle. But he has a very weak army. He still has troops in the tunnel. But I don't quite understand why. If he wanted to accumulate more cavalry to use it, he would build it. Look how well the cavalry did, conscripted by Lazy Oshi. Why didn't he use his own? In addition, Emladris has practically no spearmen in this army. He dodged it very well. But it was not possible to kill Elrond now. And he almost manages to kill Glorfindel. But he'll gives in on time. Now Lysiosha will support his teammate with cavalry. Well, sad, what is this? Well, where? Did he forget about her or what? Well, this is some kind of pain. Maybe I really forgot, I was worried. Well, now the top team has a small chance. Well, Lysiosha seems to be feeling better now. Slightly better than Gravite, not much. He already has 3 heroes. Now there will be an axe throw. He uses Karsh's blink to stun a small squad. Radagast crept up. Unfortunately, I don't see where he is. He used Divine. But here he is running, and Lysiosha is forced to retreat. I couldn't upgrade my axe. Meanwhile, Dracula upgraded the blades for his swordsman. He has a supply block. He cannot build many troops. He needs to wake up already and use these troops from the tunnel, because he now needs to build new tunnels on this territory. I would have climbed here if I were him, but if he loses every skirmish, he won't build anything additional. He could also use holes, which give 40 command points. I would build 3 holes here, at least. Now that would be a good idea. It would allow him to build a Berdura he planted the spiders in. Teacher USA could be trapped now if Dracula plays it right. Need to plant now. He tried to kill the Earthbenders, but he failed. He's lost both tunnels now. Azig's wrath was used. We need to call a new Raven height now. I would call her here, but okay. Berserker tries to kill and finally he lands. If he had made the banners in advance he could have used the Halm, now a very good one from Elrin. The third tier is called up and whether teacher now has enough strength to win or not. Elrin's 5th level, by the way, is a huge advantage. Now he has a complete buff on his troops and Dracula loses his fortress. Honestly, without any negativity, Dracula played it very poorly. Too bad. He ruined the match for his teammate now. Well, although Lazy Osha of course lost here too, but to be fair, he spent quite a lot of time fighting against 2 people. In this match, so it can be understood in principle. He lost a lot against Gravit, and yet managed to defeat him once. Let's rewind. I hope that the top team will still get together and show a good game. Otherwise they will lose dry. A Munkin 2. A map where they played. Gravit took Mordor. Teacher USA took Angmar. Gundor took Lazy Osha. And Ladras was taken by Dracula. Let's speed up. Looks like Gravite is playing the same build. Maybe I'm wrong. He's looking again. Well, he shouldn't be afraid of stuns from Ladras. He might need to be wary of Gundor's camps, but I'd play the fast Goth Mag. Well, not as fast as him, but still a good build, as we saw you. I would only play if I was standing against Gundor literally like this. That is, in principle, he should not often catch these camps, but maybe he should still do the same. Since it worked. Here teacher plays through router. And that's all for now. Nothing interesting happens. Start of the Spearman from Dracula. For some reason I don't understand. He also builds cavalry. And here. Oh, Hazel is running around here. And finally Gamag appeared. Cavalry will not help against Mordor now because he has no troops, but cavalry can help his teammate. For example, 2 squads can be pushed through and even try to kill Has-Sal. These spearmen, by the way, will also appeal to the bottom team, because Gamag will not be able to crush the swordsman, which means they at least take this creep for free. Couldn't get a single chest from the top team. That is, the bottom team has now taken 1,000 coins. Gravit saw the cavalry somehow. I don't understand how. Okay. Or maybe he set up the beacon for some other reason. Because he attacks without spearmen. But he ordered a detachment here. They might push him now. 2 squads of throwers will now fall prey to the Rivendell horsemen. Very good. The Witch Wind is used to kill cavalry. By the way, I don't know on purpose or not, but if you use the Witch's Wind, maybe it's a bug. Or maybe that's how it was intended. If you were paying attention, it looked like the spearmen had run over the cavalry. This is because he did not send them to attack. They simply ran past, and the cavalry lay down. If this is how it is intended, then it is very strange, but this is how it can be done. Dracula graded the banners to restore his knights. You can suppress the archers a little. I don't recommend using this lotion if you want to press. This is an abundance in order to fight more advantageously or better in close combat. If you want to kill some hero, for example, or you are just fighting with some troops, or you want to demolish a farm faster. This is the case when you need to use the Nolda skill. But if you want to push, you don't use it because they will slow down twice as fast. That is, they will be able to push through fewer troops with their attack. Let's look here. Izyosha wanted to help his teammate, but he has big problems at the base. A lot of troops. And these soldiers practically have no spearmen. Not practically, but not at all. Tichu tried to push someone, but it didn't work. And we need this cavalry. She's out there somewhere. And here she is, here she has arrived. Unfortunately, there are too few of them, but nevertheless they are cavalry. And it's unpleasant. And thus someone could now lose their entire army. And it seems that Dracula has been rehabilitated, guys. He has now given his teammate a huge advantage. The only question is how he will use this advantage. He builds guards of the white tree. He has two options. First, come to Dracula's base now and help him. The second option is to go to the Teacher Yue base and demolish everything he sees there. He decides to help after all. Valorant's exit is very interesting. New attack from Onmar. By the way, I like that teacher plays aggressively, because yes, he lost an entire army. But if the enemy now comes to his base, he will have nothing with which to fight back, and so he continues to harass and irritate him. Plus it is pumped. Lazy Osha can't take advantage. Maybe he will now defeat the army of Mordor, but Gravit is retreating. The magical wind worked well. Almost the entire squad of white tree guards dies in this skirmish. And what is this, the 5th level already? I don't see it. Here is Huldar. No, it's level 4 for now. Gravit has huge problems. Of course, he has a lot of troops, but still there are two enemy armies. One is very small, the other is medium, but together they are stronger than Mordor. There are reinforcements that can be pushed through by cavalry. It is strange that Angmar ignores the spearmen. Once again Dracula makes a mistake. In its place, I would build another cavalry detachment still. But the enemy just feeds. Why not? Lazy Osha left several detachments. Apparently I forgot them, and the orcs took them. Farmer uses an arrow. I lost sight of him. Will they be able to finish off Haltar? Here's Farmer. Haltar dies. Farmer survives. And Ammar loses another army. By the way, Gondar has lost a lot of troops now. Gravit approached, shot and left. I heard Ligon. Ravid wants to get looted. At the expense of this hero. And what's funny is that it seems like he built Godmag a long time ago. But due to the fact that Dracula didn't fight him, Godmag hasn't been shaken up until now. Yes, he finally got the damage lead, but that's all. He has nothing else. He needs more. So, Dracula has very poor control right now. Archers should be in the back, and swordsmen and spearmen in front, and not vice versa. Now Gravit is wrong, he doesn't need to retreat. he has a stronger army. This is simply a call to the southern provinces, which can be shot down very quickly and easily. He will also win this army easily. There are a few archers here, mostly just infantry that can be kite. All he has to fear is Elrin. Dodge him once and that's it. In addition, he has Largon, which can gradually damage him with a bow. Not very quickly, of course, but little by little, little by little. Now that he has just dodged, he is in no danger. But if Gondar comes to the rescue now, then it will be bad. He really needs to fight now. And catch up on pumping. Rock the year, more precisely. Teacherua uses Magical Wind. Uses a buff on running speed. And you need to throw the hatchet somewhere. Just so that he goes to the CD. He gives his Punitsa. Throws into the headlights of the world. Okay. Here, by the way, it is very advantageous to fight in the top team, because, well, 60% of this territory is covered by frozen ground. Again, Gravit tries to dodge the one and succeeds. Taking on the trolls from Angmar is not a good idea because Gondar specializes in killing trolls. This unit is just bad. Against Gondor, you can say that if you upgrade the armor as well as the banners, they will be very durable, and this is true. For Rudor, this is probably the best late-game unit to tank. But now he does not have the opportunity to make these upgrades. It is more profitable for him to spend money on additional heroes rather than on upgrades. I remind you that Rudor receives upgrades not from the workshop for money, but from Balantir. That is, it is too big an investment to make armor and banners just for the sake of one type of unit. It's not profitable. It's better to build heroes. That is, you should wear them right in the super late game. Somehow the top team is not able to fight properly now. They are constantly retreating. In the case of Gravit, I think he goes overboard. He just constantly retreats. Well, Dracula's army has become better, stronger, but still. It seems that Elrond's presence scares Gravitus so much that he can barely fight. He fought a little and immediately ran away. That's it, what am I talking about? What is it? Well, where? Well, he called the cavalry. Well, where are you running? But maybe he wants to drive Gondar into a trap now. After all, there are no earthbenders here, so. You can try. Well, you don't have to be afraid that he is strong, I mean. And yes, he manages to sell the army of Gondor a little now. The Sorcerer King should also be very scary. Gondorian soldiers apart from the farmer. I don't see any more troops here. Let's look at pumping. Dracula plays Manva. As I understand it, he is throwing Manva at the library. He is not using meta tactics now. But this is also good for leveling up faster. If you take a rift in the clouds while playing through Manwë, then he opens the entire map when cast, except that he will become an enemy, and heals and resurrects your army there for a while. This is very useful, and besides, it costs less. He can now take Manva literally in half a point. But there is Gonmak, who by the way has not upgraded his anti-fear. In principle, you can stop the army of Mordor now. So there are 13 points I would use, but it's already a little late, okay. There is another option to come here with all the troops, squeeze the camp if something happens and try to break the barracks. Lysiosha is pushing very well now. Angmar will suffer heavy losses. You can demolish all 3 barracks. If I were him, I wouldn't focus on the farm. First of all, the barracks, because the economy of Angmar was not demolished throughout this match, and the loss of 1 farm will not make any difference. But the loss of all the barracks will matter. He won't be able to bring in reinforcements, but maybe he will take down the 3rd anyway. By the way, there are 2 wolf dens here. If anyone knows why, you can write in the comments. I don't know why. The Witch King came to the rescue. I almost died. It looks like he didn't come to help, but ran away. Mordor has as many as 3 Nazgûl. Gamag is still not level 5, so the combination of Cloud Gap plus Stun worked very well. Plus, sorry, Elrond's first skill. I got it wrong. You can use the Wisdom of the Vala again on the library, get 2 more points. Meanwhile, Teacher Yu is trying to get Kripa under his wing. But where? He stopped doing this. Oh well, Gondor is being renovated. In principle, he would not have demolished it. It was funny. If anything, these 2 giants can completely destroy the fortress, which no one defends. I mean, if it weren't for the renovation, and if he hadn't taken it away, they would have time to demolish the fortress before the troops came to stop them. Meanwhile, Lazy Osha has forgotten Boromir in the rear of Mordor, and Boromir hits the sawmill. Cool. It seems that none of the 4 players noticed this at all. Ladris made upgrades to the blades. And arrows too. Okay. Oh, how painful it is. Denethor reveals the entire map. If it's Denethor, yes, this is Denethor. There was some small harassment at the base. By the way, Gondor is already playing in the guards of the Citadel. He is already rich, very rich. The Witch King tried to kill Boromir, but Boromir throws him off, but is bitten by the wolves. The stun won't work. That's all. He died. In the meantime, 3rd tier of Mordor, shelling of the siege weapons was used. The 2nd tier, also called Umbara Pirates. I think he should have called for horsemen instead of pirates, but oh well, he knows better. And the first skill of Elrond before the flood was used. We see that the army of Mordor has become smaller. Imladris and Dracula now have very good support. He takes 25 damage and armor from Glorfindel, and as much from Elrond, whom I do not see. Perhaps he lost it. I'll find out now. No, here he is running. Yes, the same amount. Well, he has an anti-fear. If Mordor suddenly builds a Sorcerer King, it won't be scary. It will be possible to survive. Used by the world as a thief. I don't know what he decided to roll back. Maybe Glorfindel's blade in case. Oh wait, he was coming. What can be rolled back from him? I see Aragorn and that's it. Okay, maybe he used him as a healer. This is a very weak heal, but why not? Considering that he doesn't have any important abilities, it might be beneficial. Well, by the way, we see that Teacher USA has figured out how to use wolves after all. The enemy has a lot of spearmen, and he eats them up with wolves or wolves. Apparently, Splash is still better than Counter Spearman. No, I'm wrong, it's not better. They kill. Well, finish it off, finish it off, finish it off. Oh. So, meanwhile, Gravit has huge problems. Dracula has now scored 25 points. He can use the 4th tier. He decides to use the Flood. Well, okay, why not? The Flood will allow him to demolish all the barracks of Mordor. That is, there is a benefit in this, of course. In addition, he can set up Earthbenders, meaning he can soon demolish the fortress. But if I were him, of course, I would choose the Order of Histories, because they can demolish the fortress more confidently. But on the other hand, he wins Gravit, and if something happens, he can throw a Flood as a support to his teammate. That is, the idea is good, but we see that the top team has a problem that Angmar has no troops. Only wolves. That is, there is nothing he can do now to help. It seems like he's just ignoring Gravit. Well, that's the end. I'm interested in it. I haven't watched it yet. By the way, Gundor has it too. That's it. Teacher you. Playing for Rudor, did not choose upgrades for Rudor. This is a very bad idea. Consider that Rudor has no late game with this build. And you will have to play black nominees. Or just black nominees. But it's expensive, and why then take Rudor at all? Well, Dracula managed to redeem himself for his poor performance in the first 2 matches. And now we look at the 4th match. Eminarn Karta, Misty Mountains Dracula, Angmar Lysiosha. It seems to me that he didn't succeed in playing for the Misty Mountains. Perhaps he should take another faction. Teacher USA plays against them for the loot of Lorien. Once again Rohan took Gravite. The Hobbit ran. Attached the troll. I think I've already said that there are huge benefits to be had on this map if you position yourself correctly. That is, you are trying. Give 1 troll to your enemies, but take away all the goblin creeps with cavalry. And spoil it with cavalry if the enemy prevents your teammate from taking the first troll. Well, obviously Lothlorien can't do that. He has no real cavalry, only horse archers. Rohan can do this if he is from the feet. Build we see that Gravit was unable to use the quick construction of renegades. That is, if you wait a minute, he has something here. Some mistakes happened, he switched to the Hobbit blade. If you use a large harvest and then immediately throw the traders of Rohan, then the first detachment of renegades is built instantly from the farm. This is not a bug, it's by design. And if he had done this, the renegades would have already taken the creep troll. Thus, Angmar receives 400 coins of Lysiaush and a great start for him. He plays Nominir, he plays the Spearmen of Rudor build. Throwers of Rudor and Swordsmen of Numenorians. This is a very good build, but it is more suitable for duels than team battles. Because he doesn't forgive mistakes. It has to be played very, very carefully. So, we see that Gravitus turned his renegades into cavalry. But the black nominees are very tenacious, so he was not able to crush them completely, despite the fact that he pushed them through twice. So, we see that Dracula plays the same build, only adding 1 Barak. Okay, This is similar to Gorko's build, but he will do Azog's campaign. Now, by the way, it was played very well, but he had to use defensive tactics. It would seem that the spearmen were winning against the spiders, but thanks to the fact that he started a battle with the spearmen with spiders, the archers were unable to regroup. That is, it would be LOTR could have placed spearmen here, and 2 squads of archers here, and he would have killed these goblins and spiders too. But since he could not do this, he lost his archers, and now he will also lose his spearmen if he fights. So, meanwhile, Lazy Osha takes 1 goblin creep. I think he should stop, but it's too late. He could kill these renegades a little. He apparently worries about his black nominees, there are very few of them left. He needs to invest in flags, which he does. Yes, that's why I said this was a risky tactic. He must not make mistakes. He must not trade these swordsmen for anything at the beginning. It's better not to demolish farms, but the main thing is not to lose them, because he must accumulate enough of them so that later he can comfortably switch to archers and preferably build these spearmen as well. Then he will be fine. On the plus side, when you make flags, you have an abundance of onslaught, which gives 25% damage and armor. In addition, they also knock down the enemy. That is, this will greatly help in battle against weakly armored Rohans, who, one-on-one, simply cannot do anything against these swordsmen. The main thing is to accumulate as many of them as possible, I repeat. So, Teacher Yue is looming. That, I don't know what he's up to. Oh, there's Azog, that's what. Gravit forgot the squad, but he has problems here. He has big problems, he used a retreat, he is losing a lot of troops. He had not yet controlled the apostate. He lost an entire detachment. So, a cave is being built. Okay. Lothlorien comes to the rescue. He plays the current meta, Galadrim. But so far there are very few of them. Dracula may try to defeat this army if, of course, they fight. I wouldn't recommend building a halder when you have so few archers, but I understand that he, well, let's check it now. Lothlorien. No, he's playing. If you play Lorien's gifts in advance, that is, you take the Wind of Manwë, then you can build halder early, just for the sake of getting him to swing. But if not, then I don't really see the point. This is a weak hero. Well, he can turn goblins, but, although no, he won't turn anyone, here is Azog. That is, all he will provide is support for archers, and there are very few of them. Look, you upgrade it to the 4th level, it will give you 25% damage. If you have, say, 4 Galadrim squads, that's what, +1 squad, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it costs 1,300. Well, Not really, not really. Well, okay, this is not such a big mistake, of course. Just keeping you posted. So, he's thinking something. Oh, and it looks like he decided to pump up after all. Fine. This is another matter. That is, he will need to catch the enemy when he uses Azog's anger, and after that he can use the arrow. Well, for now the skill is in CD. Lothlorien has very good leveling now. Look how much experience he has gained, already the 5th level, gorgeously simple. And he adds the Varden. That is, he has an ideal army now. He has archers that you can't easily crush, and they are very strong. He has swordsmen who are very thick, and spearmen so that the cavalry cannot. So, in the meantime, Ammar began to build his own archers and spearmen too. But we see that he has lost all the swordsmen, and Elf is trying to get behind him. Well, damn it, I don't want to admit it, but it looks like I was right. Dracula shouldn't play Goblin, he doesn't know how. He can't play for Azig. He doesn't use it at all. Azig's power is, why do players save money? Why are they trying to build it so early? Because you have a hero who hits a splash. And which is very, very tenacious. At the same time, it also gives crow height, which will greatly support your troops. That is, all you need is to set up heavy infantry and go into battle. What happened in the end? The enemy has a whole horde of troops, but the goblin only has a couple of troops. And Azig didn't really fight. That is, there was no point in building it. It was possible to develop as normal, build ordinary troops in large quantities, and then build a support for them, say Gorkil or the same Azig, but later. As a result, he no longer received anything useful now. He doesn't even have the Wrath of Azig, which he should receive at the first skirmish. Well, it's sad. He's afraid. Yes, but he will die if he fights in such an army. There is also Glorfindel there. Oh, sorry, Killaborn. I don't know why I mixed it up. Nice spin on the back, but the Galadrim won't die from one. You should not use the Guardian's ability. This way they become immune to Stampede. But if you keep them in your army, then their task is to soak up damage, not ignore it. That is, the cavalry will pass through them. Wrong. Minus Azig, or will he not die? No, he was saved. But I don't know, it's as if the game was lost by the top team. That is, all players have armies, except Dracula. He builds trolls against. Not a very good idea. Not good. Is it even possible to win this? In theory, yes. But it's very, very difficult. Let's get him. No, he's not even pumped up. No, you can't win this anymore. But you can win at the expense of your teammate. Okay, what would I do if I were the goblin now? Spam only swordsmen. There's a whole big bunch of swordsmen. Fight Lorien once. Well, that is, there should be so many swordsmen that Azoth is not afraid to get into the crowd. By the way, he has few spearmen, that is, you can also try to accumulate the cavalry that he has. He wants to infiltrate the fortress with trolls and raise the heights of crows. Well, let's say, even if he manages to do this, what will his teammate do with this? Well, he doesn't stand a chance. Here's the saddest thing. Look, Dracula has cavalry. But since he doesn't fight in any way, look, he's with Fiddle now. He had to first go into battle, and then bring in the cavalry. He did the opposite. And because of this, his teammate himself joined the cavalry. That is, this is even worse for the teammate, because he could spend this money and command points on an additional army. And in the end, his cavalry didn't work either, because there are two armies, and he has one. Sadness. The crow height should have been placed closer. The third tier is called. But in my opinion, trolls can tear down the fortress. Now I'm not sure. And Tom Bombadil throws them away. No, they cannot demolish the fortress. And if they had placed crow height closer, they would have demolished it. And Zoc left. I could also beat the fortress. Look, he could tear down the fortress, but alas. Well, let's put Lazy Eye out of her misery. Let's fast forward. His army was almost completely defeated. Dracula installed a beacon. Oh, he wants to summon Smaug. Smaug can one-shot this entire army, if of course he lands well, but he cannot one-shot this army. Galadri, we are too fat. 3 trolls died here. Let's remember. At Gravit, horse archers with fiery arrows appeared. A small army also appeared. Well, okay. I got a little carried away and squandered too much, apparently. All troops died. As it won't even strike once, I guess. Yes. What a sad thing. The most interesting thing is if one of the newcomers watches the video and thinks, why do people think this hero is an imbecile? It's like he's somehow weak. He can't do anything. No luck. Gravite squandered the troops. He landed here. Crap. Wow, I don't know how it happened, but they didn't take any damage from his landing at all. And he missed, yes. How much did he give? 4,000. This money could be spent on the army. Well, it's a pain. Lysiosha looms. Land here, please. Okay. They are level 5. They take no damage. Yes, they don't care. This is the end. Let's go. Third place is taken by Gravit and Teacher Yue. Wow, he failed to take down the fortress with melee Galadrim. What a joke. Lysiosha helps a little here. Gravite, by the way. But no, okay, enough strength. I was wrong, there are still heroes that carry the fortress okay. Well, that's the finale. The finals are out. Summoning. He plays for Almar. Sirius. He plays for Herat. Against them for Honor Bilbo and for Lothlorien Ford. The map is very small. It is very advantageous to anchor a tavern here. It is also possible to pin a troll, meaning one player gets more money. The second player receives a little money. Well, 300 coins is not bad in principle. And the advantage of the tavern. Here is the ideal position for Sirius. It is very important for him to take this. On such a map there is no better build than spamming Hanami. Because you partially pay off, you can quickly secure. Anyone even. You can distract the warg workers and immediately capture them, for example, with a spy. In short, we have to play. This is where the call plays into witchcraft. Very unusual. Witchcraft is very strong. Well, the Angvars have all very strong gaming archetypes, but for some reason witchcraft has ceased to be in the meta. Although it doesn't seem like there were any special changes, it was even strengthened. Well, the whole of Angmar was strengthened when they added a new tier 1, which is useful. So here it is, a build of 2 barracks, 5 farms. By the way, my favorite name is Lorien. Here Cardalin, well, also quite standard, is now very popular. The funny thing is that after they strengthened the Ardatane, they stopped playing it. The worker loses his forts. Well played. So I missed it. In my opinion, this cavalry could not do anything. Both players spammed a bunch of spearmen. Why 2 detachments of spearmen at once? I don't know. Maybe they somehow found out that there was cavalry there. But how? Maybe this is purely Hertz by chance? The summon is trying to steal the crypto troll. I think he did it too early. Yes, he used the Witch Wind too early. I was wrong. And he only took 100 coins, but he can still secure his own. By the way, this position is also very good for Arna, because LOTR doesn't play Biording often. Although this is a good tactic too, you can do without it. But what I don't like very much is that Sirius completely ignores the tavern. Doesn't even capture it, and immediately goes into T3 lockers. I may have already said this, but they are good, of course. The T-Triarcher build is very, very strong. But look, everyone already has troops, he has nothing. That is, he changes the build, which gives him a huge advantage at the beginning, to a build that doesn't even give him any units yet. Everyone has armies, he has nothing. It's not that it's not a mistake, it's just wrong. The map is very small. Now the two of them will carry out calls into the economy. But Sirius simply cannot help. Now he's trying, yeah, he'll spam non-stop with these archers. But will he have enough time, and will the players even allow him to do this now? The cavalry, alas, did not come to him either. Summon built sorcerers, he wants to use this ice. Black, it does quite good damage. Maybe that's why he chose sorcery. Yes, this is a good thing for such a card. Overall, if you find yourself in the same situation as Sirius, don't play like Sirius. This is stupidity. He's letting his team down a lot now with his build. Yes, if they had normal armies, then these sorcerers would do very well now. And so they just lose from the start of the game. What a pain. What does he have? No money? He doesn't build. He ran out of money. But he was still making flags. Well, I understand, yes, without flags they are not so good. You have to hand in the bill. Damn, the bottom team has such a dense army. They can easily throw in money. Yes, that's what they do. They are waiting for Treebeard now. Second forts of which the top team will simply have nothing to kill with, and all this will be a defeat. Well, sad. And if he played Conti, he would have accumulated money, he could spend the extra money on ballistas. Well, plus, if they had not been pinned down, if he had played normally, then the draft would not be sitting at the base now. He could do something, he could fight, but otherwise he is forced to simply waste time. He apparently understands what will happen there. He wants to build a siege himself. By the way, for witchcraft, siege warriors can throw barrels of plague. A very useful thing. Well, Sirius's army has more or less already become. Not bad, but I don't know if it was worth it. We'll see now. Maybe I'm wrong. The battle begins. The bottom team has a big advantage. They built fountains and a statue here. If the top ones can knock them out of here, then Treebeard will have to wait. So, the sorcerers are creeping out. Controls forts very well, not given. Doesn't give his troops, I mean. The fountain is being demolished. But Bilbo lacks control, and finally Sirius's cavalry bears fruit. He took a wrong turn somewhere. He had to finish off these guys, but perhaps he hoped that they will be killed anyway. But he will crush something else. He lost this squad. The foresters are called, and Bilbo also calls upon the forest of Cardalin Meadows, so-called. It's very difficult to fight here. The call spreads its frozen ground. But in my opinion, both effects work there. And this is the most powerful land in the game. Probably only the Oasis of ROTWK can compete with it. Good black ice, very good. A lot of troops are dying. Wood rotation is trying to retreat. Still the bottom team can't push. The top team doesn't give up now. It's very important for them. Do not give up your position, that is, win the skirmish in this forest. Otherwise, if the lower ones simply gain a foothold here, it will be impossible to defeat them here. Well, while it lasts, of course. Well, another problem for those at the top is tree turnover. What to do? A stone thrower is being built. I heard Halder. So far, the sorcerers are only preventing the bottom team from winning. The conscripted guardians of the path are almost gone. It seems to me that the situation for the top team is not that bad. But Fortov practically got the third tier. 10 points. At the call, well, he needs to get 5 points. Bilbo has 5 points, that's 10 more. And Sirius took the extra abundance, so he lags behind the most. Technically Bilbo is the worst leveled up, but actually Sirius. Suladin appeared. Good idea. If they can somehow kill Treebeard, then they can win here. The third shooting range is thrown. The draft should take the troops. He wanted to shoot at Treebeard with throwers, but I don't know what the idea was now, but in my opinion he simply lost his army. Yes, he drained the entire army. I don't know what it is. Maybe he was tilted or under control due to something, but it's the end of the game. He lost everything. They weren't able to inflict any damage on Treebeard. Well, you can probably squander. To be continued. We must try to focus these spearmen. How cool Bilbo is in control. He runs here and there. That's the direction the cavalry turns. That's the direction he turns the spearmen. Sirius does not want to fight, but he has lined up his troops beautifully. While the teammate is dying, he lined it up beautifully. Well, why not? Okay, let's skip ahead. 1-0. A monk and 2. Call for Gondar. For Rohan Sirius. For the Misty Mountains Bilbo. And for Ammar Ports. He chooses R'dor. Let's speed it up a little. So what are the Barak and tent builds for summoning cavalry? Cavalry and militia at Sirius. A very strange build. Let's see how he is. Well, he probably just wants to build Rohirrim against the goblin. But we see that the build here is also slow. Well, it's like, when Azog is in the meta and when 80% of the players play Azog, then you're not particularly afraid that the goblins will rush you. Because he builds them just to stall for time. But not seriously, although he added spiders. So maybe I'm wrong. By the way, it would be cool if Bilbo now shows a build for Azog, which looks exactly the same as what Dracula used in the leading skating rinks. I criticized him. Maybe he will show you how to play for him correctly. Small skirmishes there. The Gondorians sneaked into the rear. Will they be able to demolish the tunnel? It looks like it won't give forts. They're taking away creeps. There's something looming here. I don't know why the Rohirrim appeared, but they're practically useless, although in fact they could somehow push through the goblins a little. As long as there are peasants, you can always hide under the spiders and the peasants. Portov strangles Sirius. What's next? Shooting range. Oh, and in Kanaluka. There are 2 shooting ranges in Kanaluka. A little expensive. We need to secure the troll. This lighthouse pisses me off. So, the call is trying to push here again. A little bit of wolves plays forts. Slightly pushes the rangers. Well, in principle, against such a build, the call just needs to add a little more swordsmen to the army and that's it. And he won't worry about the fact that the wolves will gnaw off his spearmen. So, in the meantime, there have already been a lot of goblins. By the way, there are a lot of peasants here. Sirius should push while he has the advantage. But he is afraid that the forts will interfere with him. Okay, I understand. Until now, not a single detachment of horse archers has been built, so upgrading the second level is a waste of money. I also don't like that there are no javelin throwers. If one shooting range were of the second level and javelin throwers were built, then it would be possible to build only peasant swordsmen. Does not invest money in spearmen, because either one nor the other unit can tank normally. Moreover, this unit costs 50% more. Again, Sirius is throwing money away by playing for a faction that isn't afraid of cavalry. You don't even need to control it. The lightest, most casual faction thanks to this unit. It seems that the bottom team has an army twice as large. Portov fails to push through. Bilbo plays Gorkle, but it's okay. This is not Azid. Well then everything is logical, spiders plus goblins, they will come in handy. Also, spiders there gnaw away archers in the rear. Look, I was wrong. The army is still no weaker at the top. They dug in well here. The upper ones win. The Paramir is lined up, they run to harass the troops. Why are they retreating? Who could explain it to me? Perhaps they felt like they were losing. No, well, maybe I'm wrong, of course, but it's as if the top ones were winning and it was worth continuing to fight there. Because Sirius needs to capture this entire territory. He has very few command points, and the summon doesn't have much either. Portov is doing well. Bilbo doesn't have enough. Only Portov is feeling fine now. Well, the attack failed here. Portov decided to attack the conscription economy. The call took hold and took over the tavern. That is, everything is fine with him now too. 600 command points, but not for long. Well, he only has 360, what's that? 386. That is, he still has room to develop, he will still build buildings. Damn, I'm really surprised. Sirius still doesn't have spear throwers. Summon upgraded the second tier, but has not yet chosen it. Fortov has already done the same thing. Sirius 6 points, and Bilbo 7 points. Okay. Iziv decided to capture this territory with the help of the Athelian forest. But it was remade. Frozen ground. And now he has big problems. He needs to retreat. But because of the cavalry, he cannot do this. He's afraid. White trolls appeared. The best cavalry in Angmar. And he simply pushes through the forts with jewelry. I felt the pain of the call now. He lost almost all of his rangers overnight. Who's the host, by the way? Wind host. Okay. This means that everyone is on approximately equal terms. Perhaps Fortov's host does not lag at all due to the wind. It was played very beautifully now, and yes, the summon understands that it has nothing to defend itself against such a horde now. And he gives up. It is very sad, and additionally sad that there is no third match. They were supposed to play until 3 wins, but the call wrote that they realized that they were not taking out and simply gave up. Overall, it wasn't a very good tournament. Random did not play into the hands of most players, and most of the matches were one-sided. It's a pity, but I hope that you still enjoyed watching it. Congratulations. Fortova and Bilbo took first place, Summons and Sirius received second place, and Gravit and Teacher.ua took third place, meaning they won $275. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.